All right, well, when it comes to helping reduce emissions and improving air quality, one of the main ways is to reduce the number of vehicles on the road. And, that can be a challenge when in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah, that's where West Michigan Rideshare has gotten creative. Whether it's carpooling, van pooling, and more, there are ways that we can help. I took a trip to downtown Grand Rapids to learn more.
Ride sharing is any time you're not driving alone to your destination. So it could be taking the bus, it could be bicycling, longboarding, kayaking, and then of course, when we think of ride share, we think of carpooling and van pooling. So the end goal of West Michigan Rideshare is to try to improve emissions. So a lot of people are driving alone to their destination, and that's not helping the environment. So even during a pandemic, if we could try to get people to ride together, even coworkers and friends and family, it's really going to help the environment. And so if people go to wmrideshare.org, they can do carpool sign up. And from there, there's a database where you could actually be matched with other people you can carpool with. So in the database, you can enter details of your commute. So like what time of day you're traveling, where you're going, where you're starting, and then you'll be able to get matched with other people that you could carpool with. And we understand that's really hard to get people to carpool with a stranger. So that's why we're actually able to close down the database a bit for people that work together within a company. So let's say there's a very large employer, they have hundreds of people that need to get to work. They're able to actually have us change the database so they're only matched with people that are within their own organization. So we have a van pool program, and the way it works is we have a vehicle that we essentially lease to that group for a monthly fare. And so they can have usually 6 to 7 people is the capacity that we have per vehicle. With COVID, we've had a lot less per vehicle, and we're able to provide the gas, the maintenance, the insurance, and even 24/7 roadside service. So if there's an emergency, that's covered. And so that actually takes a lot of pressure off of the employer because their employees are getting a ride together to work, and they don't have to worry about a lot of those costs of transportation. It's very expensive to commute, so if they're able to get in a van pool, it's going to save a lot of money. And the good news is since we've started the program, which has been more than 10 years ago, we've actually been able to improve the air quality standards in Kent and Ottawa counties. And so that is good news. It doesn't mean that we need to kind of backtrack a little bit. We still want to see people carpooling and taking the bus, bicycling. We're making progress though, which I think is a really great thing. I would say the biggest challenge to get people to carpool would be flexibility. To be completely honest, I talk to a lot of people and I'm like, hey, you could be carpooling, and a lot of times they're like, oh, well, I have to go to the grocery store after work, or what if I have a meeting? And so we are able to kind of counter that a bit. So we have a program called Emergency Ride Home. And so if someone were to carpool with someone, and then for whatever reason they need to get home, they have a family emergency, they're able to actually utilize the program to get a ride home, and we cover the cost, whether it's an Uber, a Lyft, or even a friend having to come pick them up and put gas in their car. People tend to struggle when they have to drive alone every day to work because they have to pay for gas, they have to pay for insurance, they have to worry about what happens when there's an emergency on the way to work. Wear and tear on their vehicles is a big issue. A lot of people want to be able to buy a car and keep it a while. And so those are often challenges that prompt people to join the program. Another challenge is waiting in traffic, driving in the snow. I know that I am really scared about what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks because I think we're probably going to have some snow. And so it's like a scary word, I think, for a lot of people. So if you have the option to not drive in the snow, that's amazing. And so to me, that's a huge incentive to van pool. Just get together with some coworkers and you can sit in the back seat and you can be on your phone, checking emails because you're not worrying about driving in the snow. One fun fact about the Rapid is 85% of our trips are actually work related. So if you're at the bus station and you're seeing all of the buses, a lot of those people are relying on the bus to get to work. And it's a really great thing to see that the Rapid is able to operate no matter what. Even during the pandemic, we were still able to operate, even with some restrictions. We kept going. Snows, when it snows and there's a blizzard, we're still going to get people where they need to go. If people go to wmrideshare.org, if they go to the carpool sign up button, they're able to connect with other people. And once they go to the carpool sign up button, they can access the employer challenges. They could get more information on the travel calendar. And what's really cool about the travel calendar is it will actually show you the positive impact you're making as a commuter. So if you're taking the bus or you're carpooling instead of driving alone, it will actually show you how much money you're saving and how you're improving the environment by reducing emissions.
Hey, you want to learn more about that, the West Michigan Rideshare? Just head to wmrideshare.org.